What was the Brezhnev Doctrine's influence on the Warsaw Pact? Have you ever wondered how the Brezhnev Doctrine shaped the dynamics of the Warsaw Pact? This policy was a key part of Soviet strategy during the leadership of Leonid Brezhnev. It aimed to maintain communist control over Eastern Bloc countries. The doctrine asserted that any threat to socialism in one country was a threat to all socialist states. This idea justified Soviet intervention to protect communist ideology. The Brezhnev Doctrine was formally introduced after the Soviet-led invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1968. This invasion was a response to the Prague Spring, a time when Czechoslovakia sought political reform. The doctrine became a crucial part of Soviet foreign policy, emphasizing the Soviet Union's role as the guardian of socialism in Eastern Europe. One major influence of the Brezhnev Doctrine on the Warsaw Pact was the legitimization of military interventions. The Soviet Union used this doctrine to justify actions in Warsaw Pact countries. For example, the invasions of Hungary in 1956 and Czechoslovakia in 1968 were direct applications of this policy. These interventions aimed to suppress reform movements and maintain Soviet control. Another impact was the limitation of sovereignty for Eastern Bloc countries. The Brezhnev Doctrine reinforced the idea that these nations were under Soviet supervision. They could not deviate from communist principles without facing intervention. This created a rigid political structure across the region. The doctrine also allowed the Soviet Union to replace reformist leaders with hardliners. This ensured that communist rule remained unchallenged in these countries. As a result, dissent and reform movements were effectively stifled. The political landscape in Eastern Europe remained firmly under Soviet influence. From an international relations perspective, the Brezhnev Doctrine reinforced the Soviet Union's dominant role within the Warsaw Pact. It shaped both internal politics and external relations of member states. The doctrine was seen by some as a necessary measure to protect the unity of the socialist bloc. It aimed to uphold communist principles and address any deviation from them. In summary, the Brezhnev Doctrine had a profound influence on the Warsaw Pact. It legitimized military interventions, limited sovereignty, and ensured political control. This policy played a significant role in maintaining the structure of communist states in Eastern Europe during the Cold War.